Welcome to a lesson with Dr. Powell. Let's take a look at piecewise functions. If we take a function, we can define it differently in different parts of its domain. So, for instance, if we could have something like this, x plus 2, and maybe we could have square root of x. Maybe here, this is when x is greater than or equal to 1. This is when x is less than 1. Notice that a function has only one output for each input. So when we plug something in, we're not going to output two things. We're only going to output one thing. Because we need to see where x is going to go. So for instance, when we plug in 3, where is it going to go? Well, it comes in here and it goes through the filter here. I mean, this right here, quite literally, are two different functions, but defined on different domains. And since the domains are separate from each other, we're fine. We pass what's called the vertical line test and for a function, and x only has one output. Notice, for instance, when we plug in 3, we know exactly where to take it because we can't put it into this top function right here because it's not in the domain. The only function it's in the domain for is this one down here because we have a domain restriction. This tells us what the domain is. So here, since 3 is greater than or equal to 1, we can plug it into this, which means f of 3 is square root of 3. Therefore, is well defined, especially since these two guys right here are disjoint from each other. So what would this graph look like? Well, we can kind of think that we're splitting things up at the value x is equal to 1. Let's draw a line here. On this side, we're going to have part of one graph. On this side, we're going to have part of the other graph. And so therefore, it'll be a function. It won't overlap. It'll pass the vertical line test. You won't have one thing over top another thing. So, for instance, let's see, x plus 2 is x is less than 1. So slope of 2 and y-intercept of 2, or slope of 1, sorry, slope of 1 and a y-intercept of 2 is what I meant to say. So it looks something like, okay, why don't I just, let's see, I'll do that. Okay, so let's suppose we have 2 right here and slope of 1 right there. Maybe that's better. We'll do that. Okay. Because we let that be 1. So let that be 1, let that be 2. Okay. So slope of 1, so it's going to be going like, and 2, so it's going to be going like this to that point. And notice how it's less than, so we put an open circle. And then it goes down like that. Okay, so that's that part of the graph. Now, what about this part over here? X is greater than or equal to 1. Now, normally the graph of square root of x goes like this. But we're not going to use all of it. We're only going to use the part that starts right here. And notice how it's or equal to, so we're going to include that x value and just go out from there. Something like that, maybe, roughly. And we get the graph, the piecewise function, just like that. Thanks for watching.